Do you want to learn how to easily replace your whole house, cottage, or cabin water filter? I mean, how difficult can it actually be? Do you really need a licensed plumber? And what would be the cost of getting a licensed plumber to do that? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you in 7 easy steps how to replace your whole house filter starting right now. Hi, I'm Gary the Water Guy, and I simplify water filtration to help you conquer crappy water for your family. This do-it-yourself video is for the home, cottage, or cabin owner that wants to save the expense and the hassle of hiring a plumber or someone else to do the work for them. In this video, you'll learn when to replace that filter and also what you need to do to prepare for that filter replacement. Along the way, I'll share with you all of my tips and tricks to make the job easier. Typically, you'd replace a whole house water filter at least once a year. If it's a seasonal place like a cottage or cabin, at the beginning of every season, or whenever the water flow slows down because that filter is starting to clog. If you're not sure which micron sediment filter you need, check out my YouTube video. I'll put a link in the description down below. Whenever you need replacement filters, now whether they're sediment filters or carbon filters, just go to our e-commerce store, eStore.com. We offer a full range of filters, all at discount pricing and all at free shipping. So once you've got the correct replacement filter, these are the supplies you're going to need. So you're going to need a filter housing wrench, and that's how you're going to open up the filter housing to get in there. And you're also going to need a bucket and some clean rags, as you can see here on the list, to clean up afterwards. You're going to need some plumber silicone grease, and this is a food grade grease. It's non-toxic, it's odorless, it's tasteless. You're going to need that, and you're going to need another bucket with about a quarter full with some clean soapy water. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing you need to do is you need to shut off the water going into the filter housing. So hopefully you've got some kind of a shut-off valve like this one here. So this is a ball valve here that you can see that you just turn 90 degrees and that shuts off the water. So if you don't have a shut-off valve right before the filter housing, just follow the water line back right to your pressure tank. Hopefully you've got one right after the pressure tank. You can shut it off there. If there's no shut-off valve anywhere, then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to turn off the breaker to your well pump to shut off the water flow. Once you shut off the water, then you go anywhere in the house that's downstream of the filter housing and open up a faucet and let the water run till it slows right down. And what that's doing is you're releasing all the pressure in the system. Once you've completed that, then if you've got a ball valve or some kind of shut-off valve after the filter housing, anywhere after it, in this particular situation we've got a UV light here, but it doesn't matter if you've got that or not. Just anywhere after it, you can shut the water off. And what that does, it prevents all the water in the whole house from draining down through here once you open this up, this filter housing up. So that's the next stage. Then if you've got to release a red button on the top of your filter housing, you can push that just to release all the pressure that's inside here. Once you've released the pressure, then you unscrew the filter housing. So then using the correct filter housing wrench for your filter housing, place it on the filter housing. And as my wife always says, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. So you turn it to the left to loosen up that filter housing so that you can unscrew it. If you can't get your filter housing off because it's stuck, I've got a great YouTube video that shows you what to do next. I'll put a link in the description down below. Definitely check that out. All right, so once that filter housing's loose, get a bucket and put it underneath the filter housing and start to unscrew it. You'll start to see some water start trickling out from around the filter housing. That's normal, don't worry about it. Just keep unscrewing it until the filter housing comes off. Now, depending on the size of the filter housing, like this one's a 10-inch Big Blue, so when you're removing it, remember it's full of water and it's got the filter inside, so it's going to be quite heavy. Now this one doesn't have a filter inside yet, but remember it's going to be quite heavy. If you have a 20-inch filter housing and you've got a carbon filter in there, it's going to be really heavy. So just be careful to catch it as it comes down. Also, when you pull it out, you would get rid of the old filter housing, the old filter cartridge that was inside. You're going to dump out the water that's inside, and you're going to make sure that there's nothing stuck in the bottom of here. Now, you've prepared a bucket with some soapy water. I asked you to prepare that ahead of time. So now you're going to use that to wash out this filter housing. You also want to make sure that the O-ring comes out, okay? Because you need that O-ring. So sometimes it gets stuck inside here, so pull that down and put the O-ring on here. And then you're going to grab your new filter And you're going to unwrap that filter and you're going to pop it inside here. And then what you're going to do, you're going to use the plumber's clear silicone grease here, and you're going to apply it to this O-ring all the way around here, just a very thin layer. And what that does, it lubricates it. So as you're tightening the filter housing and it's making the seal, it doesn't bind that O-ring and cause it to wrinkle or create gaps, or sometimes it can even actually tear that O-ring. And then once you've got it inside, I'm just going to pull this out for now, but once you've got the filter inside, you put it back inside there and you start tightening it by hand. Make it as tight as you can by hand, and then using your filter housing wrench, tighten it a little bit more. Usually something like 1/8 of a turn or something like that is enough. Once you've tightened it, then open up the water inlet to let the water flow in. But don't open it all the way. Open it about halfway or something like that. Let it fill up and then check it for leaks. If you don't have any leaks, then you can open it up all the way. And then also go to your outlet. If you've got that ball valve there or some kind of shut-off valve, open that to service the whole house, cottage, or cabin. And then go somewhere nearby. It could be a laundry sink, could be a washroom or something like that. Run the water and you're going to see spits and spurts of water coming out. If you've got a carbon filter that you've just replaced, you'll see some gray water coming out. If it was a sediment filter like this one here that you put in there, you'll get a bit of polypropylene fines coming out, be a bit of a hazy white color and that kind of thing. Let it run. Usually 2 or 3 gallons is enough for it to clear. And then you're good to go. Now just make sure you warn the rest of the folks in the household that the first toilet flush or something like that, you'll get some air, you'll get some bursts of water coming through and that kind of thing. That's normal, but very soon after that, it'll clear. For my next video on water filtration, click up here and I'll see you there. Any questions or comments, just add them down below. I'd love to respond to yours.